I want to share something that I've been thinking about lately. It's something I've been working on as I guess like a container for me to understand certain relationships in my life. And I just had like four burps come out, sorry. Okay, I'll let that happen. What I mean by containers is navigating a divorce with a kid is really hard. And specifically, understanding how to approach the relationship that is constantly changing based on the distance from the like traumatic events. And in a divorce, I imagine more than just mine, that most people who are divorcing with kids have multiple traumatic events that dictate how their brain says you can act towards the other person or see the other person. The decision to like actually call it off, whoever makes that decision has their own reasons. And in our case, those reasons are their own, meaning the other person doesn't see it that way, because if they did, they probably wouldn't be divorcing. So the act of like making a decision for oneself to remove themselves from a relationship, and then the other person is being broken up with, but both of that is both traumatic. So I have worked really hard to hold on to a tender, compassionate view of my partner. And that is something that I have fostered through a lot of like shadow work, inner work. I mean, I was the one who discovered that I was autistic. My partner, before all that, I was like, "Do you think you have ADHD?" And he did, and he got like help for that. It's been my role in the relationship to be as self-aware as possible and to share that knowledge in ways that are like digestible to the other person, like not like having some tact about it, right? And that is translated to the afterwards too, because when we have gone through this experience the past year, he has had a lot of hostility towards me, and I have needed to hold space for him to feel that way, while also improvising boundaries as we go that are not only going to protect me from behavior that is inappropriate on his part, that comes from a hurt place, but regardless, like I don't deserve to be treated certain ways, but that still holds that space for him to be healing from the trauma that happened. We have recently gotten to a really good place, and I'm super proud of us for doing that because it's required both of us to participate in good faith. And we have been meeting weekly for the past little while, like maybe 2 months, as like consistently as possible, with the understanding that we are trying to help me get back on my feet because I haven't been working for a year. And it's taken a long time and a lot of effort on my part to get him to a place where he sees himself as capable of doing that for me, not because of like money or business or anything like that, but because he could hold a grudge against me forever. So for him to not let that stand and to see a way to be like somewhat of a rescuer for the person that hurt him, it's taken a lot. And these concepts that I'm explaining are, oh, there's bubbles going by my window, which is so cool. These concepts I'm explaining feel very like lofty and big, but what that looks like in an experience is we went to get coffee this morning and I look nice when I go to meet him. I act like we're dating, not in the expectations that this is going to lead to a relationship, but in the expectations that I want him to know that I value his time with me. And I said something to him when we were like, he picked me up and we just went to go get coffee. On the way there, that like kind of surprised me that I said it, but it was very vulnerable. But I'm glad I said it, and it was a very sweet answer, like reaction that he had. He was like, why don't you want to go to the like other coffee shop? And I was like, well, I don't know, that one's kind of boring, and I like going to like this one because it's like exciting and new, and I like spending time with you. And I said that, and he got like, he was like, and I felt the same way. I was just like, huh? And it's just crazy to have that come out of my mouth in a way that's not like aiming to get something from him the way it would have been if we had just been dating, because like that's how I knew how to like source like love is, yeah. And so our experiences have been increasingly like sweet and kind and like generous with each other. And this is like something I've never heard about or understood from anyone anywhere. So what I was saying is that it's crazy how this relationship has kind of gone backwards now, where we're starting to trust each other again. And since we've been through what we've been through, and since we now have a child, that we both have a huge investment in like making his life beautiful and important and meaningful, and making sure he feels incredibly loved and supported by both of us. It's like this weird security in our friendship, in our relationship, that allows me to be a little more like bold in saying things like, I like spending time with you. Because I could see how something like that previously felt probably like expectations that were put on him, like pressure to be something that he didn't know how to be. But now I can say that to him very honestly, and and his reaction was very cute, and I hope that he is flattered by it. Like I hope he takes it as I meant it. A big part of why this has been possible is because I've had to imagine what it could look like to have a friendship with my ex-husband. And I've had to be patient while my dream for what that could look like was supported by my actions over time. Because last summer, when we officially decided we were going to divorce, like I wrote a mission statement for our relationship moving forward that was based on like how we were going to come together and be collaborators for our son. And lots of bitterness on his part. And I had to like be patient and allow him to feel that way. And allow him to be very like suspicious and angry almost, that like how could I feel like, I think one of the words he like, how could I feel so entitled to like a friendship with him? And it's like I wasn't feeling entitled. I just knew what I wanted, and I was willing to wait for him to come around. And a big part of that was like I had to take huge risks. One of which was I'd never got a lawyer. I never brought that into the divorce. Like, he got a lawyer and I never got one, because I just felt like that would have put him on the defense or the offense. And that's not the kind of that wasn't the tone I wanted to have in our interactions. And it would have been much easier for me to do that. And it would have been much more financially secure for me, because right now I'm in a place where I have no money. I spent all my money on the past few years of mortgage payments. And then I spent the rest of the money that I had left after I quit my job supporting myself in a healing process to where I could get to this point. So I feel like that was money well spent, but I had no guarantee that I would have any support from anyone after this. And there's more to that. But it's important for me to be transparent about some of this stuff. In that I had to forge my own path. And what I said earlier is that I had to imagine what this could look like. And something that I started doing once I learned about how neurodivergent people communicate, a lot of times I would find stuff out oh, I didn't know I could ask for that, or I didn't know that I could have that need and I could ask for that to be accommodated. And the way that showed up in our interactions is if there was a problem between us and he made an assumption and misunderstood something and was a dick about it, instead of me using the fact that he was a dick and holding that against him, I had to imagine a situation, a way out that he would take. So what I started doing is I would say, after he said something mean or said something incorrect, and I would imagine how it would feel to be him and to want to come back from that, but also to be someone that's prideful. And I would say, okay, you can keep going the way you're going, you can keep feeling the way you're feeling, whatever. Or if you want, you can, and I would very clearly outline what he could do. Or you could say, hey, I'm not ready to discuss this right now at this time. I feel pressure to do something specific that I don't want to do. Let's talk about this in a few days when I'm not going to say something that I regret, which he already said. Say something I'm going to regret so that I can give my full attention to this situation because I know it deserves that. And I would send that text to him and then I'd get a little thumbs up, which means he accepted. And I would take that, you know what I mean? That honestly would be an apology from him for me. I don't know if this is coming across as monumental as it honestly felt the few times that it's happened. But I believe that approach to these really difficult moments between us, which generally just can be summed up as our inner children being really threatened and scared and acting the ways that they were taught to act, me giving him a way out so that he could show up in a better space, mental space, but also in the ways that I know he wants to. I know he wants to be that guy. And I know he can be. But there's what is very understandable, like blocks there. Yeah. So I guess I just wanted to like share what my like method has been in my interactions with him. And obviously there's a lot more complex things going on, but I think at the heart of it, it's like this is like what my role has been to hold as much space as I can for what he's going through so that he can show up in a way that he wants to, that I know he can. And so that I can also be like supported by him, because I deserve that too. But I don't need to go get a lawyer and fight him and tear him down to do that. Even though I've really wanted to at sometimes. Not gonna lie. This is a long one. Thanks for sticking with me if you did.